Hey, good morning guys. I'm the Tech Prepper. Last week I made a video on my experience with FT8 and I put some information there on how I was interpreting PSK Reporter, and I was using that as a tool to gauge my success in transmitting and receiving. And at the time that video was recorded, I thought I was transmitting and people were hearing me. That was not the case. So my apologies. I'm keeping that video up because I think it's a good learning experience for preppers, that the reason why we prep is not to stockpile a whole bunch of stuff, but it's to gain experience with our preps, right? And the only way to do that is to actually try and use our preps. With that said, the next day I was actually able to get my first contact, my first QSO on FT8. Not only was it my first contact on FT8, but it was also my first contact on HF in general. So I realized that there were two things I was doing wrong in that video. First, I was looking too much to the forums on what I was doing wrong, focusing too much on ALC on my radio, and I realized that maybe for me, I wasn't outputting enough power. People said, hey, don't put too much power, you might be overdriving it. But I have a QRP setup. I'm operating with at most 6 watts. So I did some adjustments on my power settings, both on the signal link and also on the power levels that were coming out of the WS-JTX software. And almost instantly, I was able to make my first contact and a whole bunch of contacts thereafter. So that was number one. My power settings really were at fault. And number two, with 10 meters, I really had to wait for the band conditions to open up. Right now, they actually look pretty good during the daytime. For me, it seems to be around 9 a.m. in the morning Pacific time to about 3 p.m. Pacific time. So I think that's what were the two things that were really plaguing me and being unable to get a contact. So bringing this back to prepping, I know that the ham videos aren't terribly popular, but the reason why I'm focusing so much of my attention on ham radio right now as part of my preps is that we don't have cell coverage where I live. I mean, if you can see behind me, that's the Tonto National Forest, the north side of it, or the south side of the Tonto National Forest. And I want to do backpacking out there, and there sure as shit isn't any coverage out there at all. So I need the ability to communicate. The other reason I'm getting into ham radio more and more, and I don't even know if I'm going to go beyond QRP. I don't know if I'm going to get a more powerful HF rig. I like that I had a struggle with the equipment that I have. It's portable, it's lightweight, it does work. Like I said, you have to give it time and patience and really understand your equipment. But that equipment works here in my shack, right? It's not perfect to make a whole bunch of contacts for contesting, but it works. I'm making contacts and having fun. I'm going to be able to take it up there on my backpack. I'm going to be able to pop it in the RV. If we ever need to get relocated, my Go kit is super tiny, so my primary radio is the radio I can use everywhere. So personally, that's why I'm really enjoying the whole QRP scene. So with that said, I've got a couple of videos in the pipeline that might be interesting. Field day is coming up, and I'm going to start doing some preparation for field day. So for field day, I'm actually going to go out to the Tonto National Forest. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a trail run to get up there or hike it. It'll just depend on what size pack I want to carry. So I'm going to kind of show you what I'm going to take with me. I have a few more items that are arriving that might be kind of cool in terms of gear. All right, so as I've mentioned before, I'm actually using a portable, manually tuned antenna. This is the ATOS 25, and what's nice about this is that it's an all-band antenna, and I've actually become pretty proficient with tuning it on almost all the bands, and it packs down super nice. So again, I'm happy to do a review of this and kind of show you guys how it works. The antenna is a little bit pricey, at least for me. It was about 230 bucks, but I'm absolutely loving it. So this will go in my kit, and I'm probably going to pack it with my lightweight REI chair in the same pouch, and then probably stick the radios in some type of pouch. I haven't decided yet. So let's go in the shack and let's take a look. Oh, hold on a second. Forgot my coffee. All right. So I'm still refining the kit. This is the fun part about prepping. So what I'm going to be doing is obviously taking the Yaesu 818ND, the Signal Link, and I have fully moved over to the Raspberry Pi 3B for all of my digital work. And a couple of things I've added here are a buck converter. So this steps down from 12 volts DC to 5 volts DC. It is exposed right now, so probably not great for the elements, but for $9, it was a worthwhile experiment. In terms of the battery, this is my 12 volt, 12 amp hour Bioino battery. I'm actually going to go ahead and take a different battery. I have one on order from Bioino, and it's their 4.5 amp hour battery. So it should be about a third the size of this, and I think it's maybe a pound, so not too bad. And then the other project I'm sort of working on, I don't know if this is going to come here on camera. I spent another $10 on CanaKit and got a USB Wi-Fi dongle. And what I want to do is have my Raspberry Pi serve a couple purposes, but basically put this into host AP mode or have it allow me to do bridge networking. So I can use this as a Wi-Fi extender out here, but also when I'm offline, I can also use it as an access point to connect directly to it. So for the field, I have ditched my iPad, or I've ditched my MacBook Pro, and I've gone with my old iPad 2. And I'll just connect directly to the access point that's on the Pi here. So in terms of the kit, sorry guys, people are driving on my private road. It's driving me crazy. This is the Haley Strategic Flat Pack. I showed this in a video, but this is going to be the loadout for all of this equipment. And then the gear that I have coming in, I believe today from Haley Strategic, is one of their chest rigs. I'm going to butcher which one it is. I think it's the... Hold on a second. Yeah, so it's the D3 CRM Micro. And the reason why I want the chest rig, a couple reasons. One is I want to still carry my concealed carry weapon, and I do want to carry that off body, but like on my chest. And there's also a cool compartment that allows you to put up to 3 magazines, and I ordered the insert for the 5.56-223 mag pouch, and I'm actually going to put my handheld radio in there. So I'll do a full review of that. In fact, if it comes in today, I'm going to do a test trail run out here and see if I can do at least 6 miles and get back there. One of the other cool things I'm doing, I've ordered a couple of maps from the USGS. They're topo maps, so I'm going fully off the grid here and getting back into, or trying to get back into land navigation. What's interesting is I've been looking at the topo maps. I used them as a kid in the Boy Scouts, and I've noticed that the older maps actually are easier to read. The map that I went with for my area was published in, the original one was in the 70s, but there was an updated one in 2004 that looked pretty good, was pretty reasonable. But the one that was published in 2018, for some reason, that one looks like it's just a satellite photo, and it's extremely hard to read. Granted, it may be more accurate. I just wanted nothing to do with it. So I'm looking forward to those series of maps finally arriving so that I can start to get out here and explore off trail a bit. Outside of that, the other video I have that's in the pipeline that might be interesting to you guys. Hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and reorient this. I need to sit down and have my coffee. Yeah, so the other video that I'm producing and some parts I have in order are for the RV. And the RV as a prep item is interesting because while you don't have the ability to have resources forever, you do have enough to hold you over for 3 or 4 days, for those of you who are in the loop of of what boondocking is all about. But the gallon capacities we have for water, gasoline, battery capacities, well, all right. What the hell's with the people on our road today? Sorry about that, guys. I think the neighbor's having his fence redone. At any rate, so the RVs are kind of interesting because they gives you the ability to have a place to go to, or at least a mechanism to bug out in, and have all the stuff that's in your RV at least for 3 or 4 days before you need to top it off again. So one of the challenges we have right now is that our RV is about 3 years old, and the house batteries are lead acid and they're completely dead. So being a prepper, being a ham radio operator, I'm deciding to take on a project to upgrade to lithium iron phosphate cells. And I've done quite a bit of research, and while they're expensive, I'm going with 2 of the 100 amp hour 12 volt batteries from Battleborn. What's nice about those batteries is that there's no maintenance. They do have BMS, so there is circuitry to protect overcharge protection. It's got low and high temperature disconnect capabilities. And unlike traditional lead acid batteries, you can actually use all 100%. So the argument that one of my relatives was sending my way was, you know, for the amount of money you're going to spend for those batteries, you could probably get three good AGM batteries. But fact of the matter is, it's not that simple, right? I can actually use 109% of this battery's capacity without issues, without damaging the cells. The other thing that's going to give me some experience in understanding how my system works in the RV. So I do also have to do a small conversion. The charger in the RV is designed for the chemistry for lead acid. So I called the manufacturer, I think it was WFCO, and they said, yeah, you could use it and you'll be able to top off to about 90%, but you really need to swap out the board for a lithium compatible board, and it's 5 wires and 2 screws. So I will be doing a YouTube video that shows kind of the full swap out of those systems. And my goal with those systems is that those Battleborn batteries, if they turn out to be good, and I have no reason not to think they will, that's probably the set of battery banks I'm going to use inside the house for either a whole house solar system or at least to start powering the shack. So I'm going to be making quite a few investments in the lithium cells from Battleborn. Outside of that, I think I'm going to also do some videos that are more on the trail. So for field day that's coming up, I'm absolutely going to film that. I'm going to film my dry run tomorrow to see how the gear feels. So probably taking things more outdoor these days will be where the channel is going. And then before I close, guys, a couple things. I want to thank all the viewers. We're at 100 subs right now, or over 100 subs, so thank you very much. We crossed our first milestone. And I also discovered another really interesting channel you guys should check out. It's the Ham Radio Dude. Yesterday he was doing a streaming session for his like 500 sub mile marker, and was giving away some items. And we just hung out most of the day and just chatted. And what I like about his channel is that his goal is to start to educate people on the hobby. And get people interested in the hobby. And I'm trying to do the same. I'm approaching it from a different angle. I'm doing it more from preparedness. So definitely check out his channel. I'll put a link down in the description. So at any rate, guys, I'm having a lot of fun here. So be strong, be safe, and be prepared.